Aloha, this is Jonathan, and today, instead of going through a walkthrough, I was going to actually do a interviewing your new deck spread. This did not print out very well, so I'm going to just be using my the image on my phone here, but just to show you. So number one is tell me about yourself. Number two is what are your strengths as a deck. Number three, what are your limits as a deck? Four is what are you here to teach me? How can I best learn and collaborate with you? What is the potential outcome of our relationship? So this is just one type of interview spread. I mean, I just got this off Pinterest, I think. I'm not even sure what that says. Matcha tofu, I think. I'm not even sure. But if you go online and just type in deck interview, you should be able to find multiple spreads. I just use this one because it's, quick 6-card spread. It's not too hard to do. This is my new Anna K. I have not even used it once, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to get to know it a little better. And I don't know if I'm going to keep it in this box. I don't like having things separate like that, because then they end up, when you try and put them together, you end up with an obvious divide, right? So I think I might use it for... Wait, is that gonna... No. There we go. So, I do rifle shuffling. I know not everyone is into that, but I've been playing cards for so long that it's automatic for me now. This is a new deck, so it's very stiff. Stiff decks cannot be bridged, at least not till they're a little more broken in. And I don't like breaking the spines, so to speak. They'll become flexible enough as we continue. So I like to shuffle a few times just to make sure things are set. I mean, shuffled really well. And then rifle shuffling is just the best way I find to make sure it's super shuffled. The overhand is great after you've shuffled a few times, but I don't stick with the overhand unless I'm going to do spread the cards out and pick randomly from the pile. That would be fine, but obviously there's not enough space here to do that. So we are just going to shuffle a few more times, and then I will do this deck interview with the Anna K to see the potential relationship I can have with this deck. I really love the cardstock. I can tell it's good cardstock because it's a little hard to shuffle. I mean, it's not super hard, but when it's in a deck like that, you can definitely tell the difference between really hard shuffling and cards that are so thin that you almost feel like you're gonna break them by doing it. These are part of it's because they're so new, but definitely stiff. Okay, now let's do a little bit of overhand. Let's get some more of my energy into the cards. And then I like to cut with, it's a little hard because I am doing this from behind a tripod, so cut with the right, grab with the left, and then we'll just put that up here for dealing out. And I do like to look at the book that comes with the deck when I'm first using it, just to, see what the difference is or what the specific artist was intending with the deck. So maybe I think I'll just deal these out and then we'll just flip them one by one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, move that aside. 5 and 6. Okay. So, card 1 is tell me about yourself. Oh, that is a great card to get for a deck. I'll hold it up a little closer so you guys can see what it is. It is the 6 of Swords. So obviously this deck is all about helping you reach smoother seas, helping you reach that other side that you've been grasping for. 2, what are your strengths as a deck? The Hermit. Oh wow. Lots of wisdom in this deck for sure. Amazing. Then your limits as a deck. Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so it's not so good with the, the physical realm. It's more like the emotional, spiritual side of things. So, it's not saying that it won't ever be able to answer questions as far as the physical or the material realm, but just that's its limits, is it's more focused on the non-physical. And then, sorry, my phone decided to fall asleep on me. And this is not written, the printing is not that great. I thought it would be easier than trying to keep my phone awake. So, what are you here to teach me? 7 of Staves. Oh, interesting. So 7 of Wands. So it's here to teach me how to stand my ground, stand up for myself. Also, I like to think of the 7 of Wands as finding your own way, not being stuck by the path that society wants you to stay on. So that's interesting. And then let's see. So 5 is how can I best learn and collaborate with you? 6 of Wands. Oh, sorry. Interesting. So, just go for it, I guess. That's the best way to learn, is to know that with this deck, I can achieve great things. That's a great thing to get. And then 6, what is the potential outcome of our relationship? Well, 5, okay, let's just go back to that for a minute. How can I best learn and collaborate with you? And 6 of Wands. Well, we'll go back to the book in a minute. I want to look at all the cards first and get my first impressions. Oh, wow. So what is our potential outcome of our relationship? You know what? The Emperor keeps coming up for me as a potential for me. So maybe I think this deck will help put me back on my throne, so to speak. Wow. Very, very profound reading here. I think this deck is amazing. Obviously, it has a lot to teach me and a lot to give. So let's see just what Anna Kay has to say. Okay, so the first one is tell me about yourself, 6 of Swords. Let's see. I've never even cracked this book open, really. Pentacles, Swords, here we go. 6 of Swords describes a departure into the unknown. This departure does not happen voluntarily, at least not fully, and the arrival is anticipated with great tentativeness. Maybe the situation is a bit like that of the immigrants who left Europe and went to America in the past centuries because they were persecuted because of their religious beliefs. They were forced to give up their homes, and they took their wounds with them on their journey. The destination was anticipated both with hope and with fear. Oh, okay. So that's kind of what I was reading into that. 2 is what are your strengths as a deck, and we got the Hermit. The Hermit is the archetype of the old wise man. He retreats into quietness and silence. He practices abstinence, self-restraint, and asceticism, and looks for guidance within himself rather than from others. He strives to be authentic, to know and live with his will, to not be influenced by others. The hermit lives with himself, in himself, and out of himself. The hermit can be problematic when his habit of retreat drives him into isolation, making him afraid of people or making him bitter and hard. He also can be problematic when he begins to overestimate his wisdom and becomes smug. Interesting. Okay, tip. The meaning of the hermit becomes clearer and is easier to distinguish from that of both the high priestess and the high priest when compared with his opposite, the chariot. The chariot means the departure into the world, extroversion, while the hermit describes the opposite journey, the journey into the inner self, introversion, and that would be the strengths as a deck. My deck is a wise old man. What are your limits as a deck? We got Ace of Coins. Where do the coins go? Here we go. Ace of Coins represents a treasure that is still hidden, but we could soon find it only if we keep our eyes open. This treasure could be a new friendship, a pregnancy, a good business opportunity, or an inspiration. No matter what it is up to us to see it for what it is and dig it up. Tip: the other 3 aces stand for certain chances as well. If you tend to confuse their meanings, it will help a lot to remind yourself of the different overall topics the 4 suits address. Yeah, well, like I said, the limits are the physical, right? Oh, maybe it's the stuff hidden. Not so good with the hidden stuff. Let's see. There's the rods. And then, what are you here to teach me? 7 of Rods describes a situation full of conflicts, of quarreling. We are attacked and have to defend ourselves. In most cases, this fight is not about trifling matters. There is quite a lot at stake. The aggression we encounter is considerable, and the attackers sometimes resort to drastic measures. Now is the time to mobilize all our strength, all our resources, and to fight back as hard as we can. The 7 of Rods also means it is quite likely that we fight from a favorable position and have a good chance of winning. Tip: to avoid mix-ups, compare this card's meaning systematically to that of the 5 of Rods. But instead, we end up getting the 6 of Rods for how can I best learn and collaborate with you. 6 of Rods stands for success, victory, recognition, and popularity, or for gains and solutions, but there is quite a strong warning implied. You can enjoy your victory, but don't make the mistake of bragging or to get too worked up about your victory, because a winner can become a loser again rather quickly. So, that's what I have to learn. That's how we can learn and collaborate together, is to not brag about what we know or how we know it. And then, what is the potential outcome of our relationship? We got the Emperor. The Emperor is the archetypal father. Everything that is associated with the father is associated with the Emperor. He means law and order, duty, responsibility, rationality, self-confidence, and rules. Rewards and punishments are dealt out according to assignable criteria. The goodwill of the emperor can be earned with achievement. He represents stability, structure, discipline, organizing ability, and many other positive aspects. The emperor can be strong-willed, just, rational, and assertive ruler. But there are some negative aspects also. Rigidity, strictness, inability to show emotions, coldness of feeling, missing the connection between mind and soul and or mind and body. Despotism, inability to be creative or spontaneous. The emperor can be cold, indifferent, merciless tyrant. Tips for better understanding of the emperor: compare him with the empress, who represents the female, fertile, creative, spontaneous, emotional form of rulership. So, I think overall, like I said in the beginning of my reading, not the beginning, but when I interpreted the cards myself, is that the potential outcome of a relationship is, victory and being in control, being a ruler, right? But remembering not to be cold and harsh, right? We have to remember that, there's that disconnect between mind and body that we were being warned about with this card. So I love how the cards all tie together. Doesn't matter which deck you use. But this deck obviously has amazing potential with me, or I have amazing potential with this deck. So, do you ever interview your decks? Do you have a specific spread that you like to use for interviewing your decks? Please let me know in the comments. And thanks for interviewing this deck with me. I hope you had fun. I sure did. Until next time, aloha!